We're Bison! We are impacted! We're Bison! We're ready to get up! We want to win! Light the fire of power and make us free! We never break down! We want to win! We are impacted! The best team!
Hello and welcome to episode 32 of Impacted, coming to you live via the Total Nonstop Impact Network. I am your host, Bison, and today I'm joined by the TNI-UK team of Simply Steve at the top and the Joe-Ker. Hi, chaps. How you doing?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, buddy. How you doing?
I bet my mouth chugging my tea quickly down to get ready for this in time, so I'm all right, thank you.
You're all right. Good. Well, how about yourself, Steve? You good?
Yeah, we're all good over here.
Fantastic. I'm hoping we're not going to have any choppiness or internet issues today. So, if you joined us last week, you know how difficult that was last week. So I'm hoping that this week, fingers crossed, we're going to have a nice smooth run, guys. We're going to have a nice smooth run. Now,
it was Sammy's fault last week.
Can I just ask? Yeah, he was definitely getting involved, wasn't he? But at this point, can I just ask that you all give us a thumbs up? Give us a thumbs up now. Get it all out of the way. Let's get it done. And if you're new to the show, hit the subscribe button and give that bell a little tickle to never miss a list of any great content coming each and every week from the TNI-UK and, of course, the US teams. So just a quick one, guys. Now, I'm not sure how many people we got in the chat at the moment, but I just want to mention that we have got the Pro Wrestling Tees 20% Memorial promotion going on at the moment. So all you got to do is mention the word Memorial. You get yourself a 20% discount. Over at ProWrestlingTees.com, we've got the brand spanking new Impacted T-shirt coming out, which includes Simply Steve now. He's now got through his apprenticeship. And he's now a fully fledged member of the team, as he's now on the shirt. So I think we're going to go for a slightly different color T-shirt as well this time. So we're going for like a charcoal grey, I think, with the logo on. I think it's going to look really cool. So really look forward to that. Get over there, guys. Use your 20% discount. If you're in the UK, it's really good because generally what it means is that 20% discount pretty much pays for your shipping. So I think that's really cool. So just head over there. Make sure, all you can support all the talents. There's 20% off at the moment. So make sure you get over there. ProWrestlingTees.com/Total Nonstop Impact if you want one of our shirts. But if you want to go and support any of the other wrestlers, feel free. Still 20% off on all that too. And I think that's great. Support your favorite wrestlers. So it's really cool. What did you think about the new design then, Steve? Obviously, we've included you on there now. What did you think about your caricature?
Yeah, it's always amusing when you see yourself as a caricature, isn't it? You always think, how would I look? And then you see it and you're like, oh, that's amazing.
What did you think, Joe, when you saw it? I think it looks really good. I think it's really realistic.
I thought it was fantastic. I've done animation work in the past, and all the humanoid characters are cut and pasted of the photograph of someone's face onto a cartoonish body. So if it was me, it's my face from a picture on a body. It looked pretty sloppy, but because I could never get the face, the ratio of like facial designs done right. So to see something like that and see it done so brilliantly, it's like it makes me envious. I wish I could get that, either drawing that style of artistic work done by hand or on computer. I was always terrible at drawing faces, so I'm envious.
I bet. I'm a terrible artist. I'm not going to lie. My artwork is terrible. I'm not too bad at doing graphic design stuff. I do all the banners and everything for this and stuff, but my actual artistic drawing skills are pretty poor. I think I just about managed getting through Stickmen. I could just about play Hangman. So yeah, I'm not doing too bad on that front. But yeah, I'm not too good at doodling faces or anything like that. Wonder whether you guys are in the chat. You let us know how good you are. We know that Zach Bonifer likes sticking people's heads on things. So so if you're right there, Zach, don't forget to do that. One quick mention I do want to do before we get stuck into everything today. I do want to mention a very happy birthday to Lakers. I think it was his birthday yesterday. So big fan of the show. Very supportive of all of TNI. So happy birthday, brother! We wish you all the best. That comes from all of us, I think.
Yeah, happy birthday, mate.
Birthday.
There you go, sorted.
Yeah.
And I believe it was somebody else's birthday as well. I just try to remember who it was, but he sent me a message. So I better check out who that was. Otherwise, he might get a little bit upset if I don't mention it. So let me have a quick gander. Do we have any other birthdays or anything coming up, guys? Do we know?
No, I don't think we do.
Not I'm aware of.
No, we don't.
Have we got any birthdays on the Impact roster?
No, not that I can think of. Sadly,
I don't think we have we? Yeah, you're right. Tim. Tim Bischoff, happy birthday to you, my brother. A big fan of the show. Great guy. So I just want to do a shout out and a big happy birthday to you, fella. All the best. And thank you for supporting the TNI team, whether it be the UK or the US lot. It's fantastic to have your support. Okay, so let's get stuck into some of this stuff. We've got a few things that have been going on over the last couple of weeks. Obviously the big news has to be Violent by Design. I want to get stuck into this one straight off the bat. Obviously they've got the tag title change. The way that the Call the Shot Gauntlet Cup or Call the Shot Cup came out right at the end of last week's Impact, and I don't think Finjuice had a chance, to be fair, did they?
Oh, I lace Austin and Madman Fulton book to be champions either on the night or at least by against all odds. And I'd even written about it too. So when Violent by Design came out, and all I could do was my jaw was hitting the floor, and I've literally just watched Impact back before we'd come back on and seen it, and I still had the same reaction. I can't believe that they actually pulled the most unexpected outcome you could think of. I thought that they would be holding onto the trophy, and then Heath would come back and maybe free Rhino from Violent by Design, and then they'd go on. But no. Instead, Eric Young just takes the best heel team and the most dangerous team on the roster and makes them even more heel than you could believe was possible. And now it's actually made Ace Austin and Madman Fulton the good guys in this whole rivalry because Finjuice has gone back to Japan. So it's a massive octuple turn. Or a pentaturn.
I think it was clever, and I think the best bit about it was the fact that none of us saw that coming. We'd all been talking about when was Rhino going to use his coolest, when was he going to use his trophy? We had no idea, and then all of a sudden, boom, there it was. I think it's fantastic. I think it's great to see Nips join in. I thought I'd mention Nips. I know that Slowpoke loves a good Nips, so I thought I'd mention Nips in there. I think a lot of people were expecting Dina to be his partner, but no, I think it makes more sense to have Joe and Rhino, two absolutely imposing beasts. And I think it's great. It's about time Violent by Design had some gold, I think. What do you think, Steve?
Well, yeah, Violent by Design, and Rhino as well. He hasn't held gold in Impact since like 2005, has he? So yeah, he's done his time and hasn't really held much gold at all. But yeah, I felt a little bad for Ace and Fulton because it did make them look a little bad, you know, that they kind of, you felt it was set up for them to win, and then they kind of lost and just disappeared. But the whole booking of Violent by Design here was perfect, and I love the use of the Call Your Shot trophy, because now anyone that wins, you feel like they win the trophy and they're automatically going to cash in for the world title, whereas now they cashed in on the tag title. So every champion now has got to be on the look, because it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to cash in for the world title.
No, exactly. One thing I do believe is that, the bottom line is that I think they did the right thing. I think taking the tag titles first is the right way to go. I know that there's been a lot of talk that there is a possibility of a female member for Violent by Design. I know that a lot of people are putting Killer Kelly forward for that position. I think she would be a perfect fit for Violent by Design. What do you guys think in the chat? Let us know your thoughts on this. Do you think Killer Kelly would make a really good fit for Violent by Design? I personally think she would, and I think it'd be great, to have a female be part of VBD, definitely, and come out one shot over the knockout. So I think it would be pretty cool to have that. I mean, what do you think on that one, Joe? I know you're a big Killer Kelly fan.
Yeah, but there's three options in my mind, and Havoc and Killer Kelly are the two that everyone's really going for. The other person I have in mind is Jordan Grace to go to Violent by Design and be like another ultimate unexpected heel turn from Jordan Grace, because things are breaking apart between her and Rachel Ellering thanks to Fire and Flavor. So just imagine if Jordan Grace had suddenly decided, right, I've really had enough of this. I've had enough of everything I've done for the company's been for nothing. You're holding me back. She goes and joins them. But realistically, I think Killer Kelly is the one who should be going there. But from a story perspective, Jordan Grace going there would be one of the biggest shocks of the year.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Gary was. That's right. But interestingly enough, Gary Rossetti's just put forward that, what about Deanna Purrazzo being with VDB?
No.
I personally don't see that.
No.
She doesn't need to be in VBD. Do you know what I mean? She's doing great on her own. There is one other person that I want to throw into the mix, okay, who I think would be perfect for Violent by Design. And I'm ready for the chat to absolutely explode when I mentioned this one, right? Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, yes. I would like that too. Well, if you guys read my recent article, you got my opinion on how Tessa Blanchard and how things went with her. I think if Tessa Blanchard was to come back, that would be a perfect place for her to go to as well. Following what happened with Eric Young, he came back bitter against the company. It would be a great way for Tessa Blanchard to bring herself back in and then slowly work her way back around to everyone's favor again. It would be the perfect way to come back into Impact Wrestling without having to rebuild yourself from scratch. It would just work.
I just think that she's got that kind of that aggressive streak in her, isn't it? I mean, when she goes, so when she goes, and I just feel that the amount of work that she's been putting in the gym recently, who knows? It could be. I knew Mira's going to go straight away, but it's interesting because from my perspective, the way I look at it is that she did some great work right up until the point that the pandemic hit. She made a decision. Was it the right decision? Could she have done more? Yeah, of course she could. She could have. I don't know if it was the right decision. At the end of the day, you've got to make what you think is the right decision for you. And if she felt that the right decision for her was that she didn't want to leave the country, Mexico, because of a worry of getting back, then fair enough. But I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with it a little bit, because either way, I'm not too bothered whether she did or not. But if she did come back, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I say I've still got another name that I'd like that I think would work. But yeah, like I said, I think we'll get into that later. Like I still think Mickie James would be a perfect fit.
That'd be interesting.
Really?
Yeah. Well, she fitted. She done Alexis Lurie back in Raven's Flock, didn't she?
Bit before
You know
my
what?
time, so I couldn't
Of
answer.
that. I remember that happening, but you know what? I couldn't give you any details on that. So I'll tell you what, my friend, give us some details on what you think and how you think that would work.
Well, like I say, she has played like a darker kind of what's the word? Like I can't think of the word. But kind of like a Raven kind of character in a female version, and you can kind of put that kind of character into maybe less of a Raven, but more of a heelish Mickey James into a Violent by Design. And we've seen her play a heel kind of character before, and I say if she can work a heel character with Raven, by God, she could do it with Eric Young.
Just reading everyone's reaction to you putting Tessa across. It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Trench just had to jump in and calm everybody down.
I saw that. Swear. No, I love it. At the end of the day, this is just opening up the thought process, opening up the discussion. I'm not asking. I'm not saying I definitely want her to come back in. I'm just saying there is a possibility, and would it work? And I think it probably would work, especially based on some of the reactions that we got there. Because I think that she would instantly come in as a heel, right?
Definitely, it's the best way to be. The best way to bring her back would be to bring her back like they did with Eric Young, straight into the role they left off with. Although Tessa was technically face. When she left, she was starting to turn heel as the world champion as they were going along. Taya Valkyrie was building momentum, and Ace Austin was going against her, and so then they had Michael Elgin and Eddie Edwards slowly going up against her. So it was everyone versus Tessa Blanchard. So she was becoming the bad guy again, which was working better for her after an amazing run as a face character. And then we still had Sami Callihan in the background, who was the anti-hero. So everything was going to a heel turn for Tessa Blanchard by Slammiversary, at least, and it just sadly didn't come to pass.
No, for sure. I mean, I just noticed that someone in the chat has mentioned that Nevaeh would have been a great female, and I agree. In fact, if I remember rightly, before she departed the company, I remember I was pushing it, saying that, I reckon Nevaeh would be fantastic for Violent by Design, and then all of a sudden she departed the company, which is a real shame. And yes, I agree, Gary. I think Jake would make a great addition to Violent by Design also, because he really is. He's the artist, and he's definitely Violent by Design. So certainly some of the stuff he's been doing recently as well. So it's interesting. Everyone's got an opinion on Tessa. Everyone's got a thought on who a female, could be for Violent by Design. So it's interesting. One other thing I wanted to say was I don't think we have seen the last of Finjuice either.
No, we've not.
I know that obviously they've headed back to Japan now, but they did state that they will be coming back. That without doubt, I'm pretty sure they're going to be coming back after that title. I know they did so am I. They did a social media promo where they pretty much stated, we're not done with Impact Wrestling and we're not done with those tag titles. So I'm pleased to see that, and I think all that really shows is that the New Japan Pro Wrestling working relationship is in full swing, which is fantastic. I mean, that does sort of kind of like bring me onto something a little bit later, which we'll talk about a little bit later with regards to who's coming tomorrow night. So just a little quick one. Now, I know that you've been following Heath, Joe. So do you have an update? I've seen he's been doing some treadmill stuff. He looks like he's looking good. He's on, and there's been quite a few interactions with him on social media with him and the Violent by Design sort of kind of situation. And what are your thoughts on that? His
physiotherapy is going a lot better, and he's out and about more. He's walking. He's going to conventions and places like that, to really start interacting with everyone and get used to being around people again. And he seems to be on track for full recovery, hopefully by Slammiversary, maybe Bound for Glory. I saw his reaction to when Violent by Design took the titles from Finjuice, and I felt his anger so much. He just two words is all needed to sum up his feeling, and you could feel the anger in it. He just called it complete bullshit that Rhino just did this to him after all the hype to get him into the company. And now Rhino goes and turns his back on him like this, and so they've got something for Heath to come straight back into now as well, which is going to be really interesting. And hopefully he is back by Slammiversary or Bound for Glory. I would really like to see him back as soon as possible to really get that momentum back.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with that one. I think it'd be good to see Heath back. I think he was starting to build that momentum. It was such a shame that the injury came where it did. I think a lot of people, he was starting to get over with everybody. But I felt really sorry for him when obviously he got the injuries. The good thing about it is though that he's managed to get all of his issues sorted. He's had the operation where everything got fixed all in one go. We know that he's obviously recuperating. We've seen him, showing lots of sort of kind of him on treadmills and all sorts of bits and pieces like that. So, all I want to do really is just wish Heath the best, and I hope we all hope, I think, to see you back on Impact Wrestling very, very soon.
Oh, definitely. And this is also interesting by design, isn't it? Because Heath was meant to win that cup.
Yeah. Heath or Rhino were meant to win.
So where is that all going to pan out?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good storyline to come, and
yeah,
it might break. Like I said, I was thinking if Heath comes back if Rhino still have a trophy, he might be the one to break Rhino back away from Violent by Design. Then showing that Dina isn't the weakest link, it's actually Rhino, which would be another great plot twist. So there was so much you could have done with Violent by Design, and there's so much you still can do with Violent by Design. It is one of the best storylines going on in Impact Wrestling at the moment.
And he's not even there.
I agree. That's the thing. But the thing is, he's really good at interacting socially. So I think it works really, really well. Now, this brings me on to obviously something talking about social media and how good Heath is with regards to that. Now, obviously, earlier in the week, we saw Dave Meltzer mention that Moose had re-signed with Impact Wrestling. Moose then saying, no, that's not true kind of scenario. And then, of course, yesterday, we then get a tweet from Moose stating that he is still Mr. Impact Wrestling. So, here is the question. Okay, so Moose versus Kenny Omega. Let's talk against all odds. This is the only match we've got on the card at the moment to talk about. So, do we think Moose is going to win? Okay, or do we think there's going to be shenanigans? Because this is what I think. Is there going to be shenanigans, which means that we get this then move on over to Slammiversary, to main event Slammiversary, and then hopefully Moose would win there? What are your thoughts on that, Steve?
I would be very surprised if either man wins it. I reckon that, like you say, we will get shenanigans. The way I think it'll go is I think that we will get Moose being able to fight off the shenanigans that he's expecting, like the Good Brothers and Callus and that, and then we may get shenanigans from maybe the Bucks that he isn't expecting.
Oh, that's an interesting one. What I could see happening is if there's going to be shenanigans, it's going to be after the match with Sami Callihan. I think shenanigans would be the Good Brothers come in, they help Kenny Omega win, then Sami Callihan comes out and it goes for a triple threat at Slammiversary. Moose wins, Sami Callihan or Moose gets himself disqualified or knocked out or something like that. But the other way where it could go, which I do hope it does go, I hope Moose just pins Kenny Omega because they're building Kenny Omega onto to something else now elsewhere. So Don Callis has got to turn his attention there. So Moose pins Kenny Omega, and then we have a big standoff between Sami Callihan and Moose. And they could still book a triple threat matches for Slammiversary then, with Kenny Omega going back as a challenger for Moose's title. But Sami Callihan is going to get involved in this match one way or another, and Don Callis is going to get involved in this match one way or another. So we do know there's going to be shenanigans. It's just who's going to take the fall.
Yeah, interesting. What? You got something to say, Stevie boy?
I kind of expect Moose to take the fall, but I expect him to look really strong in the match and kind of leave with like maybe him getting the pin on Omega, but maybe there being a ref bump and him sort of being able to leave the match saying, look, if this hadn't have happened, I'd have had the match won, and then then there being a claim for a completely fair rematch later down the line.
Well, Sami Callihan could be coming out to interfere with the count then too. So Sami Callihan's got loads of ways to disrupt the match in either of their favor. But he's an Impact guy, so he's going to be most likely helping Moose get the title. So he just gets his title. Moose is doing it for the company, so he's slowly going back to face mode as well, which is quite interesting to see.
Yeah, he is definitely. I think the trouble is we talked about this before, because Sami is kind of like the anti-hero, isn't he? Like, regardless of anything, to me, he's always been an anti-hero. Like, he's never really heel. Like, but then, I see him sort of kind of in between, because I think he really is kind of face or heel. You know what I mean? He is. And he pulls it off so well. There's not many people that can pull off that sort of kind of tweener role. But he's definitely someone that can do that. And he can change it on a dime as well. He can literally change it on a dime. And over the last couple of weeks, obviously, we are starting to see that build, that almost, that Batman type scenario coming across from Sami, and I really like it. I love the way his character is being built.
One side thing that just popped in with Violent by Design winning the titles that has made me think is Violent by Design are, like I think Striker said, the heroes that we didn't realize we needed. Winning the tag titles back from Finjuice gives me more of an instinct that Sami could be the one to take the titles, because again, the hero we didn't know we needed. The villains are the ones taking the titles. That's what Violent by Design have done. So is Sami going to be the one that wins it?
Oh yes, is it? Matchmaker's good at dropping those hints and keeping people guessing. So it's just adding to that buzz, and it's what I think is so good about Impact Wrestling. Now everyone's buzzing about this, and I just can't wait. I just can't wait for tomorrow to see what happens now.
Yeah, there is so much. There's so much sort of kind of like going on, and all the storylines are starting to sort of kind of come together. And what they do so well is they create that intrigue, like you said, and they keep everyone guessing. Who's it going to be? I notice there's a little bit of talk in the chat at the moment with regards to Vikingo and this 1 hour match that we keep hearing all the buzz about. I would imagine it's got something to do with Kojima. But we'll have to. Well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But moving on from Against All Odds, because obviously that's the only match really we've got to talk about at the moment. I'm assuming that maybe tomorrow we'll get some more. But
you see there? Oh God, he's not going to is he?
We lost him.
Right. Crap. So. He had a lot of notes on where we're going. So where should we go?
Yeah, I think obviously going from Against All Odds, there's been surrounding them surrounding like Moose and everything, I think we were going to sort of say about like any like update on like Callus. We were sort of saying there's been a few updates with sort of Callus, a bit more like intrigue in that on where he's maybe going.
Yeah, from what I understand is Don Callis has left Impact Wrestling. He's not left on bad terms or whatever anybody else thinks, and that he left. He's left. Literally, he's officially finished last month, and he's doing what like Johnny Impact did. He's carrying on now until whatever storyline he's involved in is done, and then he's going to be going away. He's basically doing is he's Kenny Omega's manager, and Kenny he managed Kenny Omega through Omega versus Jericho and Omega versus Okada, and Jericho versus Okada. He was Jericho's manager, or he was a major player in there. So he's basically I think Kenny Omega might be going from AEW as well for a little while. So that's what I see is happening with Don Callis. It's not Don Callis is falling out with anybody or all this shit that the dirt sheets are coming up with. It's Don Callis is taking the next step in his career. He came in with Scott D'Amore on the advice of Jericho to rebuild Impact Wrestling and take it from the ashes of Global Force Wrestling and make something fantastic out of it. He's done that now. He's got P.E. Williams, Gail Kim, Tommy Dreamer, and D.O. Brown in backstage as some producers and talent relations and things like that. And he's done all he needs to do. He's even got Josh Matthews in production now, and Jimmy Jacobs is there too. So they've got a strong team out back with a hell of a lot of experience. So they don't need Don Callis's draw anymore. Don Callis is now going to be holding the bridge between New Japan Wrestling and Impact and AEW is how I see it. And I've said it a few times over the past weeks. It's not Impact versus AEW. It's Impact Wrestling versus Don Callis, and that's exactly how this is all panning out now. Because with Don Callis finally leaving.
Yeah, and there's been a few like things.
Yes,
like,
Bison got licked.
There's been a few things since like Callis came in that I've heard, like news items or stories or directions where you kind of get the feel like Impact aren't going in this direction because that's not the direction Don Callis wants, or they haven't made. And whereas now you maybe get the feeling if Don Callis isn't there, maybe they may be able to go in this direction. Like I believe there's a few talents that will let go because Callis didn't like them, or for example, a mid card title. That's something Don Callis really didn't like. Whereas if he's not there, maybe they might be a bit more open to bring it in. You know, I know there's a few things where Callis is very set on. He didn't like it. So, yeah, you don't know. Maybe a few things may change now that Callis isn't there calling the shots.
Callis has done a fantastic job. You can't hold that against him. So,
no.
And good luck to him wherever happens next. And
well, he'll only be in AEW, won't he? You know, and as you say, he's still bridging the gap here, there, and everywhere. So, you know, we'll likely still see him.
Yeah.
I'm going to wade in there on the Callis stuff, if you don't mind, guys.
Go for it.
So yeah, no, I agree. I like Don as an on-screen presence. I think he's definitely got the chops for it. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there are certain things that the Impact haven't done recently. Like you say, one of them is kind of like, maybe there's a possibility of a mid-card title or whatever. He's definitely one of along the lines of less titles is better. However, when you need to build out a roster, you've got to give him something to go for, because not everyone can be world champion. So not everyone could be tag champs. Not everyone could be ex-champ. It's got to be there's got to be something in the middle. And of course, when you start bringing in some really good stars, let's just face the facts. Your Heaths of this world, your Brian Myers of this world. Even Matt Cardona at the moment, who's appearing very regularly now. These are top talents. There's got to be something for them to go for if you're not going to put them in the world title picture. You've got to have something for them to work with. Now, I'm not saying that every storyline has to be working towards a title, because it really doesn't. In fact, some of the best creative storylines that we've seen on Impact in recent years have not involved any titles at all. I mean, you only got to look at the Undead Realm stuff to know that there was no titles involved in any of that. But it was great. It was really good stuff by some really talented guys. So again, like you say, is his involvement in that sort of kind of creative management sort of area holding us back at the moment? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not there behind the scenes. It could be, but I do like him on screen. But that said, and talking about possible incoming talents, what are your thoughts on the recent releases? We've not only obviously seen talents being released, but you've also seen other people being released in WWE, like people that are involved with social media, website design, videos, all sorts of different things that people have been involved in behind the scenes. Are some of these guys who we should be looking at necessarily throwing some money at? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, boys?
I've saw recently that one of their commentators got fired, and he'd only been there for like just over 3 or 4 months or something. So the fact that WWE is still cutting costs with all this extra stuff and bringing in big names for stupid amounts of money is just illogical. It's that they're imploding on their own, on Vince McMahon's own ego. He's under this impression that as long as we've got big star power, we're going to be fine. And I think that's what Hogan and Bischoff did, and that sort of killed TNA, if I remember rightly. I know that's what Bischoff did, and it destroyed WCW. So you think of being the smart businessman Vince McMahon claims to be, he'd actually be paying attention to history and trying to avoid implosion, not create implosion.
Totally agree. I tell you what, there's something else I want to mention as well. Did you guys see, I didn't actually watch NXT, but I did watch some of the video footage of the incredible Taya Valkyrie's debut on NXT last night. And I find it extremely funny, the amount of comments that were being made about how incredible she is. Her entrance was amazing, and all the stuff that they were talking about, her gear and all that kind of stuff. And I just sat there thinking, this isn't any different to what we've been watching for the past 2 years. Like
the majority of people
are
probably watching it probably haven't seen her over. They probably think this is her first ever appearance on telly. They probably, they don't watch it. They don't watch anything other than WWE.
But that's the thing. That's what drives me up the wall, because I'm like, Jesus Christ, what you're saying is like stuff that we've known for years. Like, Taya's amazing. She's one of the, like Mark has just said in the chat there, Taya is the greatest female performer in wrestling. Well, whether it be in wrestling, certainly she is an incredible performer for Impact Wrestling. That's, I've only really seen some of her other stuff online. But I just think to myself, she doesn't look any different to what she did when she was on Impact Wrestling. Her entrance is exactly the same. It's just a different name and, different music behind her. That's the only thing that's different. It's still the same person. And she's amazing. And, we all know that. And I'm just going to say now, good luck, girl. Good luck. You go with it, and you absolutely blow the universe away. That's all I've got to say. You blow that universe away, because you blew us away for 2 years, and thank you for that. But yeah, so what I'm thinking here is that maybe we should be investing in some of the guys that were behind the scenes, opposed to necessarily throwing loads of money at some of the talents. I'm not saying we shouldn't bring in a Chelsea Green or the Iconics or Samoa Joe, or there has been a Daniel Bryan tease or whatever. I'm not saying these people shouldn't come to Impact Wrestling, but what I am saying is, maybe we should be looking at the production. staff that have been let go, that have been there for 10 years and do a great job. You know, some of the website guys, some of the, you know, streaming stuff, you know, look, you know, is there people that would do a job for the Impact Plus app? You know, so we don't have so many issues with that. You know, I don't know. I think there's definitely a case to look at some of these guys as opposed to
Yeah, like definitely sort of put it this way, Impact at the moment behind the scenes has got a good team, I think. So you want someone who's going to come in and click with that team. You don't want someone who's going to come in and sort of make the team the team disjointed. So it's got to be you know, someone who's going to come in and fit. Whereas if you have a wrestler, it's a big roster that they're going to come in and fit. So if they're a little out of place, then it doesn't matter too much. Whereas the backstage personnel isn't that big, so it is a big step to take, I guess.
I'm sure there's going to be some. They're going to get some more backstage personnel.
Possibly, but I mean, look, you know, they didn't look back. I mean, look at Jimmy Jacobs though. Like, you know, I mean, he came in and has been amazing. You know, I think from a creative perspective, I think he's been a massive influence. You know, I mean, we can turn around and say, you know, well, Don Callis. You know, we could talk about that. We could talk about you know, Scott D'Amore's involvement in the creative aspect. We could talk about other people. I mean, I think there's a guy, is it an Evans, somebody Evans, who is also a wrestler as well, who's involved in the creative process at Impact. I'm sure someone in the that's it. You know, he's involved in that, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, the big man is Jimmy Jacobs now, and you know, the guy is very, very clever. And for me, that was a big loss for WWE when Jimmy sort of kind of decided it was time to move on. And I'm so happy that Impact took him on. Now, the other thing I was going to say was very, very briefly, we did get an Eddie Edwards update as well, didn't we? Now, obviously, we wish him all the best, but he's ended up having. They're looking good. He's on the mend.
Bit choppy there. Just in case you guys missed it, Eddie Edwards has had his appendix operation on the week the first set of tapings were aired. So he's now back at home. He's been smothered with cards. You go to his Twitter feed, or go to Alicia's Twitter feed, and you can see a picture of him with all his cards from all the fans. And Gail, Kim, and Eddie Edwards are exchanging a lot of back and forth. Really, really keeping his spirits up, and he seems to be in perfect health. So he should be out for 2 to 4 months. Is the average that is the average time people are out for. 3 months is the average time it takes to recover. 2 being the soonest they come back. 4 being the longest that they should be out for just making sure they're ready. So I think Eddie Edwards will be out till just before or at Bound for Glory. I've said it when the news was breaking last week that this might be the case, and I stand by it, because they were trying to build Eddie Edwards into this rivalry with Moose and Sami Callihan and Kenny Omega, and sadly, because Eddie Edwards had to go for the operation, I think that's why we got that 6-man tag match at Under Siege. But that being said, Eddie Edwards getting the pin there, they still the possibility that it could lead on to Eddie Edwards versus Omega. But sadly, Eddie Edwards it was just too risky for him to not have the operation there and then. But he's home, he's healthy now, and he should be on his way back pretty soon. So all the best to you, Eddie.
I think
it's very,
the
very
interesting thing is with. Sorry, I was saying, I think the interesting thing is that with regards to the fact that Impact do their taping once a month, that sort of kind of means that, you know, they actually got quite a decent amount of time to recover from stuff before but before the next set of tapings. I know he's not necessarily going to be at the next set of tapings, but it does allow his process for them, because they're not out every single week or every single night like a lot of wrestlers are at other brands. So yeah, good. All the best, Eddie. Yeah. We are totally rooting for you, and we miss you. So get well soon, bud. Get well soon.
Yeah, you say that he wasn't at the set.
What are you going to say, Steve?
Whatever, you say that about like recovering and being at a set of tapings, but I saw something the other day about I think Eddie challenged Sam Beale to a match. Beale was doing a promo, and Eddie come up to him and said, "Look, we can have a match at the next coming Impact or something." Or so yeah, I don't know whether he was at the last set of tapings.
He must have been then, but
I missed that one. I missed that one.
I've not seen it online, but from what I read from the PWI, that's that Eddie Edwards wasn't at the last set of tapings, or he wasn't at the full set. I've probably misread it, but either way, I think what's going to happen with Eddie Edwards and Sam Beale is Eddie will have this match and probably get taken out after the match, and that'll be how he's written off for the next couple of weeks. But either way, it's just good to know that Eddie Edwards is
as far as
okay.
I was aware. As far as I was aware, he was at the first day of tapings and then went in for his operation on the Monday. Because the first day of tapings the Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
So there is a possibility, isn't there?
Yeah. They take. I think they take like 2 days off or something.
So there is a possibility that he could. Yeah, you're right. I think Gary's got it right. Whatever happens could, if it's a match with Sam or whatever, that could happen tomorrow night. I guess it could be one of those, the ones that sort of kind of inserted in through the show.
Yeah,
but talking about tomorrow night on Impact, that's a nice lead in there, isn't it? That's a nice lead in. Thank you for that, Gary. What we've got so far for tomorrow night's show is obviously Sammy has got something to say as far as where he's opening the show. So what do we think? What do we think that's going to be about? I'm assuming it's going to be with regards to Kenny Omega, Don Callis, Moose. Anything else? Any other thoughts on this?
Oh, he's going to be there doing what Sammy does best, cutting a fucking gold promo.
Yeah.
Just as simple as that. It's just gold as soon as Sammy's on the mic. We're going to get Moose come down, and then they're going to probably stare off, and then maybe Kenny Omega in the background. But Sammy Callahan's just going to open up with a blinder.
Yeah, I can't really add to
Definitely.
that.
I have to say it's pretty much going to be that, isn't it? I was lucky enough back in November 2019 to be there when he did the promo on funny enough, Tessa Blanchard. He did a massive promo on her in New York, and it just went on for ages, and everybody was absolutely like loving life when Sammy was in the ring giving his promos. He's fantastic on the mic, so I'm looking forward to that. We then got advertised the 5-on-5 knockouts match, which is Taylor Wilde, Rosemary, Tennille, Havoc, and Rachel Ellering, which is an interesting one, versus Diana, Kimberly, Susan, and of course Fire and Flavor. Now, this is an interesting matchup, really. I think it's a good match. I'm looking forward to it. I love a good 5-on-5. But how it sort of kind of came about was last week was very sort of all of a sudden, wasn't it? We like you say, at the end of the Taylor Wilde Tennille tag match, you've got Havoc lifting up Taylor Wilde and all sorts. Taylor Wilde's on Havoc's back and all sorts. So I'm not really quite sure where all of that's come about. And we also get Rosemary coming out with Decay and giving Havoc eye and sort of kind of and all that kind of stuff, the all-knowing eye or whatever. And is Taylor Wilde a part of Decay? What the hell's
Yeah, I really didn't like this whole setup of this match, to be honest. It kind of, like you said, came out of nowhere, and it was just a bit of like, let's get all the women on the show kind of thing. It felt a bit weird.
Yeah, it felt a bit forced, but the way I see it, it was everyone was just had enough of Fire and Flavor before they even started talking. So, and Deonna Purrazzo obviously still wants to show that she is still the best knockout on the roster. So that's the only reason why she'd be out there. Although she really wouldn't have needed to be out there in the ring. So I think Deonna Purrazzo coming out into the ring and attacking everyone damaged that a lot more than it did help it. But at the bit coming towards the ending, seeing Havoc in the ring with Taylor Wilde on her shoulders, and then Tennille Dash was not having a clue what the hell is going on after Taylor Wilde saying that she doesn't want anything to do with anybody. That also then leaves me wondering what the hell's happening here. You know, is Taylor Wilde going to be going for Deonna Purrazzo, or are they going to be holding it off even longer? What's going to happen with her and Havoc? And then we got Rosemary coming out, extending the hand to Havoc again. And it's that extra tease of is Havoc going to go to join Decay, which would be awesome. And it wasn't the best spot of the week last week, but it has set up a good match now.
I'm very intrigued that we've got Ellering in the match.
I think it's interesting.
And Grace isn't in there.
Yeah, but there was a promo online backstage. Some Taylor Wilde had come backstage after Jordan Grace was talking to Rachel Ellering, just saying that we've had our match now, we can get back together and move on. And Taylor Wilde had come out, grabbed Rachel Ellering, said, "We need someone to join our tag team next week. Can you do it?" And Rachel Ellering just said yes, and then they both got up and walked and left Jordan Grace on her own. So there's something building there between Rachel Ellering and Jordan Grace now, and the seeds have been planted there. You can find that on Twitter. I think it literally just broke like yesterday or the day before.
I think it literally was something to do along the lines of Rosemary she wanted Ellering, she didn't want Jordan Grace, which sort of kind of like put Jordan's back up a little bit as well. So they're teasing that split, and again they're teasing the Jordan Grace heel turn, which has got to be coming soon. And again, could you, like you said, that again talks to the possibility of Violent by Design for Jordan Grace. So you know, that's interesting, because who knows if she turns full on heel. It could be interesting to see that happen. So I think it's an interesting match. I mean, where do you think this was going to lie? Who's going to win this? Which five do you think is going to win?
It's going to break down. I think it's just going to completely break down.
Well, the obvious is to say that Susan gets pinned, isn't it?
Yeah, or Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah, Susan gets pinned. Do we? Are we going to see a return of Su Yung though?
Maybe her time might have come.
You know, I'm gonna go left ball and say Ellering gets the pin on Susan, which kind of eats more into Grace kind of saying she can't get the job done.
Yeah, well, something's going to happen.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I think there's definitely going to be some shenanigans during this. Definitely. You know, I want to see a Taylor Wilde come out on top and pin somebody in there. That's what I want to see. I want to see Taylor pin Susan, or pin maybe even pin Deanna. You know, like, and then that opens up the possibility for because Taylor's been saying all along she's there for the world title. She's not there for tag titles. She's not there for anything else. She's there for the world championship. So, you know, who knows? I mean, there's ways and means of making that happen, isn't there?
Yeah, they've been tagging, but they haven't. You know, she's never actually.
You know, she's been reluctantly tagging.
That's it. Yeah, reluctantly tagging.
No,
it's like how they built Josh Alexander.
Reluctantly tagging, isn't she?
They built Josh Alexander into the face role. They did the same thing. They had him reluctantly tagging with Matt Cardona, and it's gone the same way with Taylor Wilde now. It's a nice way to build Taylor Wilde back into the fans' sights, but it's lacking a bit of direction. But in the end, we do know that Taylor Wilde is going to go against Deonna Purrazzo, most likely at Slammiversary.
Oh man,
Yeah.
without doubt, without doubt. Now, of course, we've also got talking about Violent by Design. This has been a very Violent by Design heavy show tonight, lads. I mean, so it should be with the header that we picked this week as well. But apparently, Violent by Design are also addressing Impact this week on it, tomorrow night on Impact Wrestling as well. So, what do we think that they've got to say? What do you think, Joe?
Well, Eric Young told everyone that there was sickness. Eric Young told everyone that there would be consequences, and the consequences have started to unravel now. You don't give in to the needs of whatever Eric Young's little world is creating, then you will be punished.
Yeah.
And Finjuice got in their way, and Finjuice were punished for being Finjuice, for being the disease, being the foreign entity that is coming in to Eric Young's little world. And so, how do you get rid of a foreign thingy? You take the titles off of them and send them back to Japan. And it's going to be an interesting promo between Violent by Design and Ace Austin and Fulton. Again, I think to build Ace Austin and Fulton more into a face role, or at least just build a rivalry between the two teams. So it's going to be interesting.
What about you, Steve?
Yeah, like the same. It's a real shame EY got injured, because could you imagine him kind of taking the belt from Omega now?
Oh God, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, him with the world title, and then the tag. And I mean, even if Cody was now to take the X Division title as well, all of them draped in gold.
Yeah, that's what I think they want. That's how it should go. I think. So at some point, it should go. Violent by Design do take over the entire roster after Moose has got the title back to Impact Wrestling. Then Violent by Design take over. It would be the best way to cap off the entire year, is to have everything almost seem to settle, and then Eric Young just wreak havoc over the whole roster. It would be a great way to just carry through the rest of the year. It'd be a really good story.
It would, yeah.
Well, at this point, guys, I know I mentioned it at the top. I know I mentioned it at the top of the show, but I've just noticed that Tim Bischoff and Lakers have joined us in the chat. So I'm not sure whether they were there earlier. So again, we wish you happy birthday, Tim, and a happy birthday to the Lakers as well. Thank you for being awesome supporters of the TNI-UK team. It's great to have you with us, and great to have you in the chat today as well. Happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday, guys.
Now,
Tim, to answer your question on Don Callis, we've already covered what's happening with Don Callis earlier in the video. So we've answered that. So you have to jump back and check on that. But we've got no hard feelings against what's happening with Don Callis, basically, is the short answer. But we've given a bit of a more lengthy response to it earlier on. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, feel free when we get the replay. It was right at the beginning of the show we were talking about that. So please feel free to check out the top of the show. That'd be great. Now, moving on, the New Japan Pro Wrestling working relationship continues with the debut of Kojima. Now, do you think we're going to see Kojima in a match, or he's just going to be on the show? What are your thoughts on this? I think we're probably going to see him against a Sam Beale or the VDK or whatever his name was that we've recently seen. Do you think we're going to see that, or do you think that we're going to, or is he going to get thrown straight in there against, like a Trent Miguel or something like that, or TJ? No, it can't be TJP because he's with Fowler. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
He's going to get a match, or he's going to get built into the Josh Alexander. He's obviously here for the X Division title, like El Fantasma was. But I think he's going to have a match. He's going to show off what he can do and remind everyone who he is. Because honestly, I have no idea who the hell he is. That's just how out of touch with the rest of the wrestling world I've been over the past few years. And I can see you shaking your head.
Well, Kojima is Kojima is an absolute, Japanese legend. I mean, he has been on. I believe he's actually appeared on TNA before in the past. He's done Ring of Honor and a few other, US promotions.
I've seen him on Ring of Honor once or twice, but I've never really got to know him.
Yeah, primarily, it was an All Japan guy. I believe he's had some matches with Joe Doran actually. So who knows? Maybe he's there to pick a fight with Joe Doran.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see too.
Yeah, we'll say he's
as far as I'm aware, they've had some
All Japan.
Yeah, they've had some slobber knockers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Kojima's been, was it All Japan as well? He's been I think he's probably been at all of the Japanese promotions over the years. Is an absolute legend of Japanese wrestling. It's fantastic to see. I mean, he's about 49, 50 years old, something like that, I guess now. I mean, it's definitely the latter end of his career now. But he's a muta. At the end of the day, he's an absolute Japanese wrestling legend. So for him to be appearing on Impact Wrestling is a big thing. But I really hope that we get 2 or 3 matches out of this. It'd be great to see. I think a match with him and Josh Alexander would be very, very interesting. Definitely 100%. I would like to see that. That would be great. I don't know. What are your thoughts in the chat, guys? I mean, what do you think about Kojima turning up to Impact Wrestling tomorrow night? We are going to go into an open forum in a bit. So, if you do have any questions that you'd like to ask myself or the boys, start putting them in the chat now. I'm very interested to hear what you want to say. And then that leads us to the final advertised match for tomorrow night, which is Josh Alexander with Pete Williams versus TJP and Falaba. Now, what's interesting about this one is only last week when we had Fala tagging with Pete Williams. Sorry, not Fala. TJP teaming with Pete Williams in a tag match. And I remember saying, I don't understand this. Why did he not pick Falaba? I didn't understand it. And all of a sudden, the following week, Fala turns up obviously in Swingers Palace as a Falarella.
He's a Falarella, baby.
He's a Falarella, baby. And he was working off his debt. And then TJP comes in. He's been looking for him, and TJP is obviously on a winning streak. He pays off his debt, and he's like, "Come on, man, you're my tag partner. I need you," sort of thing. And then they have a match, and there we go. So there we get a match set up. Now, I said on an probably about 6 or 7 months ago, maybe longer now. Actually, it's probably even longer than that. I wanted to see TJP Falaba take a run at the tag titles because their chemistry, I think, was so good, and the matches that they had, and then all of a sudden they just broke it up just like that, and I was like, I was gutted. So at this moment in time, I am overhyped to see this match. I'm very excited. I want to see this match. What about you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. TJP and Falaba were absolutely astounding as a team. We had them and the Deaners were really building a lot of momentum come up to the end of 2020. And then Bar and TJP went off their separate ways, and TJP went back down the X Division title route again, which it did. And again, once again, Falaba is in a situation like Kiera Hogan was in when she was in her first years at Impact Wrestling. He comes in, he gets a hell of a lot of momentum behind him, and then it just disappears again. Then it goes back up, and it just drops again. So I think now they're finally going to come into a point where things are going to start to even off with Falaba, and he's actually going to have a solid base to go on now. I think that him and TJP, if face Austin and Fulton don't win the tag titles, they're going to be the next guys to take the belts.
I think there's got to be a reason why they're bringing them back together, hasn't there? There's got to be a reason they're bringing them back together. And I think we can safely say Pete Williams is going to eat a pin tomorrow night. What do you think?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Pete Williams isn't going to unleash a destroyer in Far Bar, as awesome as that would be.
Yeah, I would say there was
Oh, cool. Can you imagine a Canadian destroyer off the top rope on Falabar?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, say give like I don't know, a year and a half ago. I can't remember what the reason was, but I'm sure they were meant to win the belts, and then some like whether it was COVID started or something happened, but yeah, something got in the way, and then plans changed or whatever. But since then, Falabar's just been lost. We've not seen anything from Falabar, sadly. You know, he's been here, he's been there, but yeah, in ring wise, storyline wise, we've not really sadly seen anything from him. Hopefully now, getting back with TJP and getting back into the tag division, we'll probably see a proper run from them, and you know, maybe actually get the tag titles. Sad thing is, they've just gone on to Violent by Design, who hope, you know, we kind of want to keep them.
Yeah, and we've got Ace Austin and Fulton and Desi Hit Squad as well. So, but again, but that being said, the tag team division is now back on fire again. It's literally just gone from nothing to having at least 4 or 5 teams there on the main tag division now. So they've like fixed that problem overnight just by having TJP insult PT Williams.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, there we go. It's all done and dusted. We've got a feud straight off the bat. And like I say, I think it's a great way to bring, you know, Fala and TJP back together. I really hope they get the win tomorrow night, and you know, and that sets them off on a road to glory. I hope at some point, because TJP and Fala Bar, fantastic tag team. You're not going to be disappointed if you've not seen these guys before. If you're new to Impact Wrestling, you're not going to be disappointed seeing these guys tag. They're great. Okay, so that's pretty much it, really, for tomorrow's show. You know, we're looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great show. But I'll tell you what, guys, we're opening it up. Let's take, I don't know, 3 or 4 questions from the chat. Throw us a question in. You know, who you want to answer it, or if you want, you know, all of us to answer it or whatever, just throw us a question out. We'll do 3 or 4, and that'll pretty much take us to the end of our live impacted episode 32. You know, what have we got? Have we got anything in there already? Have we got?
Yeah, I've got.
We got in there, guys.
One
Come
from
on. There must be something.
The ref Cupid 61 is asking for thoughts on Chris Jericho, but honestly, I'd like to know a bit more about what do you actually want us to, or one of us to actually elaborate on, or if it's just something to get me talking about Jericho for the next 20 minutes and then we run out of time. Because honestly, at the moment, I haven't got much else really to say about Chris Jericho, apart from I know Fozzie's got a new album coming out. So apart from that, there isn't much else I can say on Chris Jericho at the moment. So anything Impact related would be good. Someone did ask actually also about our thoughts on Rohit and Jake something and Mahabali Shera and how that ended last week and what we think is going to happen next. So what do you guys think about Jake something snapped last week? What was your reaction to it?
I was very
know
surprised
one
that
thing
we
for
didn't see.
sure.
I was very surprised that we didn't see
a
Jake.
proper full-on heel Jake something is what we want.
Yeah, what did you think, Steve?
Yeah, well, I was very surprised we didn't see a Jake and Rohit match at Rebellion, or sorry, Under Siege. But yeah, I kind of think we might be getting a heel Jake, but we've got quite a lot of heels at the top as it is. So yeah, maybe they'll stretch this feud out until Slammiversary, and then maybe they'll pair someone with Jake to kind of counter Rohit.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I was thinking, you know, it was amazing to see Jake something finally just say, right, fuck it, enough's enough. You're going to do this to me. You know, Scott says I'm the best guy on the roster, and you're holding me back. Right, let's take your friend. Let's smash him through a table and see you take me on now. And that was at the end. The whole beatdown was shocking because it was just so out of character. Although if you see Jake something elsewhere, you know he's an absolute badass. But It was so out of character and so sudden and unexpected after the match. It was just brilliantly put together, and it's built really adding more to this Rohit and something rivalry. It's not just another tit for tat against Rohit again. It's now this is a serious rivalry, and now Shearer's been taken out by something. What's Rohit going to do now? Who's he going to run to next? Is he going to go back to Chris Bay and get Chris Bay injured by Jake something, or what's going to happen there?
I still think there's a chance we sort of see him bring a couple other people in, and then that's maybe when we get a new Daisy Hit squad, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, do we start? Are we going to start seeing, Rohit, Shearer, and is Raj Singh going to come back?
Yeah. Well, we've got Raj, haven't we? And then they've got.
We just don't know, do we? We just don't know where it's going to go.
We've got Bhupinder Singh training in. Is it BCW, Border City Wrestling?
Yeah. I mean, Raj is still on the roster, still Impact roster. He's just recovering. I mean, he obviously signed a long-term deal, so he's still on the website. So I'm assuming that at some point we will see Raj come back. And if we do, then that could be a surprise at some point.
Yeah, well, Raj and Rohit are still the OVW tag team champions as the Desi Hit squad.
Oh, I didn't know. Good to know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, they are. Yeah, no, for sure, they're definitely there. So it could be interesting. I mean, I'm a big Rohit fan. I think Rohit is incredible. So more Rohit, I say. More Rohit. The more we get of him, the better. But it would be interesting. Is he now the man to lead a rejuvenated Desi Hit squad? Maybe Gamma's not the man to lead. Maybe Rohit is the man to lead, and we get Shearer and Raj Singh behind him as the sort of main lead for Desi Hit squad. I don't know. I think previous carnations of Desi Hit squad have not really done it for me. It wasn't until Rohit started to go on his own that I was very impressed, and he's great.
Yeah. You say that, but I love the tag team of Rohit and Gosinda.
Well, no, there was nothing wrong with the team. It was just the story. It was just it wasn't going in any direction after they had that rivalry with the Dinas. There was just no direction with it. It was all experimentation. But when Rohit and Garva Singh would have their interactions, I could see Rohit then turning on Garva and just going off in his own merry way. So Rohit going solo when he was forced to because of the pandemic, that wasn't much of a shock, and it didn't hamper him at all. And Shearer's come back as an absolute badass now. So there's potential tag team champions there. Yes or no? I'd say there's a potential for them to get another shot to go for it. And it would be interesting to see, but it would be long-term planning, especially if both of them sign another contract. Then I think they could be tag champions there.
Yeah. See, I agree with Gary Rossetti in the chat there. I mean, I've also been shouting for Karim to join Rohit for a long time. I think Karim is an amazing talent. I've seen a lot of his stuff with AAW and other promotions, highlight reels, etc. The guy is an absolute beast. So I would love to see him join Rohit at Impact. Whether I think it's going to happen, I don't know, but it would be good. It would definitely be good to see that.
Could you imagine that with Rohit standing there with Karim, with Karim and Shearer behind him?
Oh God, it'd be just beast central, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So Tim's got a question there. He's asking, what do you think is going to happen with the Knockouts division and with the new? I assume he meant AEW partnership getting better or worse. What's the next thing on the table? Well, do you know what? I think personally, there is obviously a plan in place with regards to the AEW partnership. I'm just going to trust it and let it go, run its course, and see what happens. With regards to the Knockouts division, well, we've got some new knockouts have been coming in. There is some rumors we've got some more coming in, and I think the knockouts division is pretty badass at the moment. I was a bit gutted to lose the likes of Nevaeh. I would like to have seen Nevaeh go on a singles run before going, but it didn't happen, which is a shame. I'm hoping Killer Kelly comes in. I think we could see Chelsea Green and Mickey James turn up by Slammiversary. So I think now we've got Taylor Wilde back, which is pretty awesome. Big Taylor Wilde.
Yeah, I mean, personally,
The future's very bright.
Yeah, I don't think much will change. I mean, it's been 6-7 months now, and we haven't seen much change between either company, sort of. So yeah, I don't really see much changing.
No, sadly, I have to agree. That there's been the opportunity to build something, and so far, like I've said all along, it's not been Impact versus AEW. It's been Impact Wrestling and AEW versus Don Callis and Kenny Omega, and that's where this whole partnership has been built around. It's been built around Don Callis and Kenny Omega, and Don Callis has got the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers on his side. Moxley, Sami Callihan, Moose, Rich Swann, Eddie Edwards against him on both sides there. So that's like all the big headlining stars on both companies against Don Callis. Tony Khan's just there thinking everything's hunky dory, not having a clue what's going on. But Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz have been calling out loads of knockouts, not knockouts. Sorry, Anthony and Jennifer Riser. They've all been calling out women on the roster to possibly come in and face them, like Chris Statlander and some of the other women on there. But they've not had much response, and Britt Baker was another one. They've not had much response from them. So unless there's a big cross-promotional event between Impact Wrestling and All Elite Wrestling, which would be the best way to go, rather than have like an invasion angle, which just won't work. That's the only way I could see Impact Wrestling and AEW's women's division come together and pull something off pretty interesting. And we are going to have to wrap it up there, guys. We are running a bit low on time now. So,
we are definitely.
That's where I see it going. Unless AEW and Impact Wrestling can come together, even if they come together, they've got Double or Nothing coming up now. But if they do something for All Out and have a couple of Impact Wrestling stars go there for a couple of matches, and then do the same at Bound for Glory, something like that. And then maybe next year or the year afterwards, building to actually set up a one-off event where it's like both companies versus each other, like Luchagram versus Impact Wrestling was. And they did it with Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling in the past as well. So it can happen, and they can make something work from it, especially for the women, because from AEW, they're not getting as much exposure and as much appreciation as they should do. And Impact Wrestling is the backbone of women's wrestling as far as televised wrestling goes. So
best wrestling, best female wrestling on the planet today.
Yeah.
End of. Full stop. That's the deal. As Joe was saying, we do need to start wrapping up now, guys. So where can we find you, Joe, on the socials?
You can find me on Twitter at Joe-Ker Empty Space. You can find me on Twitter or Facebook by following hashtag Void or hashtag Empty Space. Find me on Facebook at Joe O'Keefe, KWFFE. And if you fancy a bit more of a stranger side, you can even look for your hashtag Daily Giggle and test your sanity on Facebook and see what happens. Just keep an open perspective, guys, because some of it can be a bit extreme. Okay.
Oh dear. Yeah, you can find me over only on Twitter at SimplySteve311, or if you fancy giving any articles Impact Wrestling related that I cover, then you can find me over at WrestleBuddy.com. Usually they come out every Thursday evening.
Yeah, there's the Wrestle Buddy articles going on as well. There's some great stuff coming from the TNI team, TNI UK boys. Well done, guys. Very proud of that. If you're looking to find the Bison, I'm very active on Twitter at Lord Bison 45. Please give me a follow. I do love to talk everything Impact Wrestling, and of course, if you keep up with me, then obviously you'll find out everything going on with regards to TNI UK as well. So that's really good. I think this is pretty much been impacted live, and I really hope you've enjoyed spending time with us in the chat as much as we've enjoyed spending time with you guys. Please take the time to help us turn up on as many timelines as possible. Giving us a thumbs up, and if you're a first time listener or watcher, please make sure that you click that subscribe button, give the bell a little tickle, and never miss never miss any of the TNI team's great content each and every single week. Let's give it a tickle, boys. Make sure we give that
you can
bell a tickle.
You can find us on SoundCloud and iTunes,
with all that,
Spotify.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, with all that said, I've been Bison. They've been Simply Steve and the Joker. And this has been in episode 32 of Impacted. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Take care.
We're Bison! We are Impacted!